Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Chapter 6, text 38. Kaccin mahā-bāho chinnā abhram iva naśyati apratiṣṭho mahā-bāho vimūḍha brahmaṇaḥ pathi kaccin nobhaya-vibhraṣṭaś chinnābhram iva naśyati apratiṣṭho mahā-bāho vimūḍho brahmaṇaḥ pathi. Word for word meaning. Kaccit, whether, no, not. Ubhaya, both. Vibhraṣṭaḥ, deviated from. Chinna, thorn. Abhram, cloud. Iva, like. Naśyati, perishes. Apratiṣṭhaḥ, without any possession. Mahā-bāho, almighty armed Krishna. Vimūḍhaḥ, bewildered. Brahmaṇaḥ, of transcendence. Pathi, and the path. Translation and purport, again by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Almighty armed Krishna, does not such a man who is bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away from both spiritual and material success and perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? Everybody please repeat. Almighty armed Krishna, does not such a man who is bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away from both spiritual and material success and perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? Purport. There are two ways to progress. Those who are materialists have no interest in transcendence. Therefore, they are more interested in material advancement by economic development or in promotion to the higher planets by appropriate work. When one takes to the path of transcendence, one has to cease all material activities and sacrifice all forms of so-called material happiness. If the aspiring transcendentalist fails, then he apparently loses both ways. In other words, he can enjoy neither material happiness nor spiritual success. He has no position. He is like a riven cloud. A cloud in the sky sometimes deviates from a small cloud and joins a big one. But if it cannot join a big one, then it is blown away by the wind and becomes a non-entity in the vast sky. The brahmaṇaḥ pathi is the path of transcendental realization through knowing oneself to be spiritual in essence, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, who is manifested as Brahman, Paramātmā and Bhagavān. Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa is the fullest manifestation of the Supreme Absolute Truth, and therefore one who is surrendered to the Supreme Person is a successful transcendentalist. To reach this goal of life through Brahman and Paramātmā realization takes many, many births. Bahunam janmanam anti. Therefore, the supermost path of transcendental realization is bhakti-yoga, or Krishna consciousness, the direct method. Kaccin nobhaya-vibhraṣṭaś chinnābhram ivana naśyati apratiṣṭho mahā-bāho vimūḍho brahmaṇaḥ pathi. So Lord Krishna is being addressed here as Almighty Arm, mahā-bāho. It's like Arjuna also was addressed by Lord Krishna earlier as mahā-bāho. Because the question here by Arjuna is that for a person who is on the path of transcendence, what will happen to him somehow if he is not successful in his endeavor? Is he going to be like a riven cloud that will just disappear in the sky? Or sometimes maybe attached to a bigger cloud, but if there is no bigger cloud to be attached to, what's going to happen? It'll just disappear. So there is a fear here. The question is that Arjuna is in fear. What's going to happen to me? Am I just going to, if I'm not going to be successful in this process that you are telling me to perform or to do, what's going to happen to me? So fear is present in everyone. Fear is a result of if one has a desire and thinking that it may not happen. So there is a fear that what's going to happen? Uncertainty. We all have fear, right? That's part of being a conditioned soul. In fear. A pure devotee of the Lord, he doesn't have any fear at all, because he knows Krishna is the controller, the supreme controller of everything. He knows that not even a blade of grass moves without the will of the providence. So everything that happens to us, ultimately, he says that Krishna always wants the best for his devotees, or for everyone, even to the non-devotees, because he is equal to everyone. However, the materialists, they don't have any interest in transcendence, as we've just heard from the Purport. Their interest is for economic gain, so they're always in fear as well. Especially the richer you are, then what happened? We're gonna go for kirtan after that. It's okay. We'll try. We'll try. Hare Krishna. Some important person coming. More important than Krishna? Yes, we have to greet if there's an important person to cultivate them in Krishna consciousness. The materialist, again, only interested in material gain, of course, for sense enjoyment. And they're always in fear. Prabhupada says even rich people, they will have a big fence. Their house will be having a high wall, and there'll be a sign, beware of dog, so that you'll think twice or many times before you enter. He's in fear whether someone will steal his hard-earned money or he's going to lose it in stock exchange or he's going to lose it in investment. So fear is there. Even the parents are also in fear of their children. What's going to happen to them? Whether they'll be safe or they'll be protected. No one can protect anyone. Only Krishna. As that verse, Sarva Dharmam Parityaja, do not worry, I will protect you. So the materialists, they want especially higher promotion, Prabhupada says here, or in promotion to the higher planets by appropriate work. I'll just do my duty and therefore I'll go to Swargaloka. And therefore, some of them, when they started to know about Krishna, they're also in fear whether to give up their worship of the demigods. They're in fear whether if I only worship Krishna, will my material desires become fulfilled or not. They're weighing, shall I continue Devata Puja or only to Krishna? Sometimes when we go house programs, we see still some of these devatas included in under altar. And we cannot tell directly that there's no need, but we're telling them that if you worship Krishna alone, then there's no need of worship of other living entities or demigods. Just like the Srimad Bhagavatam says, if you water the root of the tree, then automatically the twigs, the leaves, the branches, they all get nourished. You don't have to separately water each and every part of the tree. Just water the root of the tree. So they want to make progress materially. And then there's other path whereby a person takes to the path of transcendence, process whereby he wants to cease all material activities and sacrifice all forms of so-called material happiness. In order to attain something which is greater, you have to give up something which is lesser. You cannot take both. So those who are in the path of bhakti-yoga, they have to learn how to be in the renunciation. That's the only way how we can be able to get maximum return or maximum award or reciprocation from the Supreme Lord. Yeyatamam prapajyante tam stataiva bhajamiham. As they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So the more we focus on the process whereby Krishna is the only main center of our activities, then rest assured, hope against hope, Krishna will reciprocate according to our efforts. We cannot ask Krishna full protection if we are not fully surrendered. To the degree that we are surrendered to the Supreme Lord, then to the degree that Krishna will reciprocate. So a transcendentalist is like this. He wants to give up all forms of material desires to be happy. Because if he doesn't have any more material desires, again, what is the root cause of fear? Desire. Desiring for oneself. If one has a desire for himself, then there is always going to be a fear whether it's going to be successful or not. Unless one desire for Krishna, then it is up to Krishna whether he will reciprocate or not. If the aspiring transcendentalist fails, there is fear also, especially for the newcomers. Those who take part in the process, Krishna consciousness, the new ones, there's always hesitancy. There's always a fear whether I should really go all the way through or no, I'll back up. Because I'm not so sure what's going to be in the end of the tunnel. Is there going to be light at the end of the tunnel, or what if this promise is wrong? So there is hesitancy. There is a fear factor, whether, yes, I will continue or not. So what's going to happen to him? He's thinking that, what if I fail? Neither I'll become materially prosperous, nor I'll be able to attain my desire, which is to be happy. Both ways I will lose. Later on, Lord Krishna will reply to this question. It's a very important question. You must be also asking yourself, what if I am in the wrong path? Am I in the right path, or I'm not so sure. We met somebody this morning from our Japa walk, coming from Yamuna. Met him regularly now because he moved. He used to stay in Kusuma Sarovar, near the temple of Uddhava. He was from Canada. And he threw his passport already away. And every time I see him, he's so blissful, he's so happy. I ask him, how are you doing? He says, I'm happy. Not artificially happy like the materialist. He's really there. And he's very renounced. He's very detached. He only depends on Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani. He only eats once a day. Of course, most of us will not be able to follow this. But he was determined to go back home, back to Godhead, because the more we are detached materially, then the more we will be able to control the mind. The mind can be our worst enemy or our best friend. So it depends on how we utilize our senses to use for Krishna's service. Our mind to always think of Krishna. It's very difficult to think of Krishna if we have many, many material desires to be fulfilled. We're like diverted, flickering. It's already difficult to control the mind, what to say, able to control the senses by fulfilling the desire to enjoy the senses with these sense objects. So this person is very renounced, he's very happy, he's content, he's satisfied, he's Atmaram. So I asked him, where do you stay? Because we saw him coming from that side of Yamuna. He says, I go early in the morning, I chant my rounds near Madan Mohan Temple. He is there 3 o'clock in the morning. Getting up early in the morning, chant his rounds, and then he will do his puja. This is ideal, especially in Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, we don't have any business except to increase our hearing and chanting. Otherwise, it's very difficult to stay in Vrindavan if we're not fully engaged in Krishna consciousness. We may be in Vrindavan, but physically, but mentally, intellectually, spiritually, we could be somewhere else. It's like many people take advantage, especially in the month of Kartik. They are here to make money. There was an increase of beggars in Vrindavan. And these are not Brijabasis, because Brijabasis will not beg for alms. But they're coming from outside because they know Kartik time is the best time to make money professionally. Actually, Prabhupada says we are professional beggars. We're begging for Krishna. But they're begging for just to maintain themselves and maybe to increase their material desires. So, in other words, because those who are new in the process of Krishna consciousness, they're not really tasting the rasa or the mellow or the sweetness of devotional service. I was asked this afternoon also by a friend from Delhi. He asked me, "Are you happy?" What will I say? I said, yes. Otherwise, how will I continue on like this? We have the same program every day. We get up early in the morning, go for Mangalarti, chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, go to Srimad Bhagavatam class, and be as active, fully engaged in Krishna's service as much as possible during the day. And the day goes fast. Now it's almost the end of the year. Like January seems to be only yesterday. What? We only have like 2.5 months and then 2023 already? Huh? If you're in Vrindavan, 24 hours is not enough. Well, I have that experience anyway. But if you're not doing anything, the day is boring. The day seems to be so long. So as Prabhupada says, for those who are engaged in Krishna consciousness, they're always happy. They're always joyful. Because they're satisfied. Everything done for the service of the Supreme Lord and His devotees satisfies the soul. Materially, it doesn't matter how much money you have, how many friends you have, so-called friends you have. Doesn't matter how much your relatives are rich or wealthy. That will not make you happy. Yes, that is another form of happiness, temporary happiness. Because there's a beginning, there's a middle, and the end in material happiness. Spiritual happiness may be tasting very bitter in the beginning, but it tastes nectar in the end. So Prabhupada says, well, the materialist is saying to the devotees, "Oh, why you have to struggle so hard? Why you have to be so austere? Look at us, we're happy." The materialist will say like that. Prabhupada says, oh, we may be struggling right now because bhakti is not so cheap. Attaining Krishna prema is not so cheap. We have to pay the price. We have to sacrifice. Okay, Prabhupada is saying that. Let's just say, but actually we're happy. We're happy. Let's just say there is no Krishna after this life. Let's say there is no Krishna. But we're happy now. We're continuously doing the same thing day after day after day. And it's not boring. You feel bored doing the same thing, chanting the same Maha Mantra all the time, eating Krishna Prasad. No. So let's say there is no Krishna next life. Prabhupada says, we're happy now. But you don't take to Krishna consciousness, you are not happy. You are suffering. You're full of miseries. Then Prabhupada says, then what if there's Krishna next life? We're happy now and we'll continue to be happy next life. But for you don't accept Krishna, you're not happy now. And how will you be happy next life? Because you don't take to Krishna consciousness. So in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. A little bit of endeavor goes a long way, especially in the month of Kartik. In Kartik, there is a wholesale of bhakti. This is a month of Srimati Radharani. We pray to Srimati Radharani. We offer our humble obeisances unto her to bestow upon us Krishna Prema. Especially devotional service, the endeavor, the effort that one would like to perform, to do for the pleasure of Krishna and his devotees in Vrindavan, in Mathura. Mathura means Vrindavan. Yields an eternal result. It will not be erased. There is no such thing as it'll be destroyed, especially in Vrindavan. And even a simple offering of lamp, because lamp means you're offering of yourself. It symbolizes that you're offering yourself. That is the symbol of the light, of the lamp. You're offering your very self to Lord Krishna. So when we offer lamp to Gaurnitai, Krishna Balaram, to Radhesham, Lalita Visakha, to Yasoda Damodar, and to the rope, and to the wooden grinding mortar, and to the monkey, and to the peacock, and to the butter that's hanging, it will have an eternal result that cannot be erased. Ultimately, it'll progress more and more and more, that someday, hopefully in this very lifetime, even before we leave our body, that we will attain love of God. It's like we had one of our brahmacharis who left his body a couple of days ago. What a glorious passing away. Unexpected, but Krishna has a plan. Srimati Radharani has a plan for this devotee. He's an amazing devotee. I mean, he's one of our top stellar brahmachari here. We have a lot of brahmacharis here, about 150 brahmacharis. But this devotee, he was doing book distribution for the last 25 years or more. Perfect in his sadhana. quiet, no prajalpa, no going here and there. He very seldom he will go out of the four walls of the Krishna Balaram Mandir. He will only do his service quietly, no chismis. In the Filipino we call this chismis, means prajalpa, talking gram kata. No village talk. I don't even think he has a smartphone, which is, can be easily distracted. And somehow, of course, we feel pain because we don't have him now. So whatever he did in such a short period of time, he made it. He went back home, back to Godhead. Because anyone who lives one's body in Vrindavan, even the most sinful person, Mathura Mahatmya says, even the most sinful person will go back home, back to Godhead. What to say of a devotee? So a materialist may think, oh, really? Okay, let me go to Vrindavan and live my body in Vrindavan. I've been sinful for a long time. That may not be possible. Because we've heard also of Brijabasi, he was so sick, and then he wanted to live longer, so he planned to go to Delhi to get well. And he left his body somewhere outside of Vrindavan. So whatever he did, some credit was there. But then he left his body outside of Vrindavan. So there are two ways of leaving one's body, especially we will hear later on, because for the newcomers, what will happen to them? There is no loss or diminution. One will go to the heavenly planets and then will come back again to the earthly planet and will take birth again. And family, the mode of goodness. But a devotee who's been performing bhakti for such a long time and was not able to perfect one's life, next lifetime he'll take birth in a family of devotees or in an aristocratic family whereby he can easily be detached because of his previous lifetime. Just like an example of Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami, he was born in a family of zamindar. In those days, they're like crorpatis, rich people, but easily not attached to the material things. So to reach the goal, we have to continue on, be determined in this path. Hope against hope, as Srila Rupa Goswami says, hope against hope that we'll be able to make it. Determination comes from especially association with the devotees who are determined. Those who are advanced, how do we associate with them? We serve them, we inquire from them, we reveal our mind to them in confidence, and we take advice from them, take guidance, take direction. So in this way, as there is one poet says that if one tread the path of bhakti, he can close his eyes blindfolded and he can run in any direction as fast as he can without any fear that he will trip or he will stumble. So we should ask ourselves, am I still in fear? Am I really sure of what I'm doing here? Or I'm just going with the flow? It's good to go with the flow also. But we should know what we're doing, why we're doing what we are doing. then everything will make sense. Because we've heard and we've seen examples that devotees who perform bhakti, they actually made it. They went back home, back to Godhead. And some of them, even in this lifetime, we see that they are so happy, that they are fearless. This is one of the qualities of those who are in the renounced order of life. They're supposed to be fearless for Krishna, but we should be fearful of Maya. We should be fearful or in fear of Maya. Pray to Lord Krishna that Maya will not be able to capture us. I'm sure many of us heard that story before, that Prabhupada, he was praying in front of the deities for some time, and then later on his servant asked him, Srila Prabhupada, what are you praying to the Lord? So he was saying that I was praying to the Lord that I may not be captured by Maya. And Prabhupada says, and that is the problem of his disciples. They don't have fear of Maya. If we are fearful of Maya, then Maya cannot capture us. And if we are always in the association of the devotees who are always engaged in hearing and chanting the holy name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord, then we are guarded, we are protected by becoming attracted to the material energy. It's like in a big kirtan. Are you thinking of Maya in the kirtan? Huh? No. No, of course not. But not even for a second. Not even for a second, because you're so absorbed in the transcendental sound vibration. And Prabhupada says, in kirtan, that is the safest place in this universe. Nowhere else. If you're absorbed in hearing Harikatha or hearing the holy name, the glorification of the Supreme Lord, that's it. So we should always be on that platform. Saturate ourselves 24 hours in Krishna consciousness. And that is Vrindavan. So even you are not in Vrindavan, because some of you are just visitors. Actually, we are all visitors here. We're not residents of Vrindavan yet. And someday we will all become residents of Vrindavan. Because a resident of Vrindavan means no more envy, no pride, no lust, no anger, no madness, no illusion. Only love for Krishna within the heart. And that is bhakti-yoga, Krishna consciousness, the supermost path of transcendental realization. Okay, we stop here now. From text 40 to text 45, Lord Krishna will answer this question. We will hear that after Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day. Because starting tomorrow, we'll be hearing Prabhupada Katha. Hearing Prabhupada Katha and Krishna Katha is the same. It puts us in the transcendental platform. Hearing the glories of a pure devotee is the same as hearing the glories of Lord Krishna. Like if you think and you remember your Guru Maharaj at the time of death, you also go back to Godhead. It's the same. because he's in the transcendental platform. So if you remember your Guru Maharaj before leaving one's body, then you also go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. So we stop here. Is there any questions? Any other points? Yes? Do you have a microphone? The sound is a little better this time. I can hear myself. Let me see if I can hear him. Go ahead. Go ahead. Start speaking. Turn it on. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, Vrindavan is a state of mind, or we should attribute ourselves to a place called Vrindavan. Because in the morning lecture, few days back, I heard that one who uses the body here, one who keeps the body here.
One who is?
One who keeps the body here.
Who leaves one's body here?
Yeah, having the material desires.
With?
Having the material desires.
Yes.
He will take birds like hawks, monkeys, etc. So
Yes.
how can we apprehend that? If a person, very simple person, coming to Vrindavan for quitting his body, he will be elevated back to Godhead. So
Yeah, you'll take birth. You'll take birth as a lower species of life in Vrindavan, and then you go back to Godhead. All of these animals will go back home, back to Godhead. But you don't want to be a lower species of life. You want to serve Krishna.
Maharaj, it didn't go clear to me. Can you elaborate?
Because this is the mystery of Vrindavan. All of these animals, if you notice and observe, they're always covered with brajaraj, dust of Vrindavan. You see the dogs near MBT? They're always lying down on the ground. And this dust of Vrindavan is priceless. There is no amount of money in the universe equal to one speck of this dust. This dust of Vrindavan is worshipable as the deity of Radhe Shyam. That you have to realize. The demigods are waiting to touch Brajaraj. They're always they're not dirty. Actually, they're pure. You know our shoe wala? You think he's dirty? He is the purest. He's touching all the shoes of the devotees. He's touching the dust from the shoes of the devotees. And you may say, oh no, I will not do this. This is dirty. You're wrong. He is the purest. Huh? From morning to night, he's touching the shoes of the devotees. How pure, how much purer can you be? So everyone goes back to Godhead if you leave your body in Vrindavan. Okay? Yes?
The lesson is very much interesting to hear.
Interesting to hear?
Yeah. Of course,
A what?
advancement of the spiritual knowledge.
A what?
For advancement of the spiritual knowledge. Our progress in the spiritual knowledge.
Yeah.
So, I have some doubt in my mind. There are different types of residents in the Vrindavan.
There are different types of
Residents in the Vrindavan.
arrangements.
Who are qualified for the going to the Buddha of Vrindavan after they leave the body.
Yes.
Enlighten on this issue.
Well, Right now, we just have to follow the instructions of Guru. Chant our rounds, attend the morning program, read Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, serve the Vaishnavas. All of this will be revealed to us in due course of time. Right now, we're not even going beyond that. How many times Prabhupada will tell in his class, you're not this body, you're a spirit soul. We cannot even go beyond that. So the more we become purified, then gradually we'll be able to have the taste to follow one of the residents of Vrindavan, eternal associates of the Supreme Lord. You'll have that ras, you'll have that special taste that, hey, I want to be like him. I want to serve Krishna like him or like her. The more you become purified, you will come to that platform. Okay. Yes, right there.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for great class. I have a question about doubts.
Doubts?
Yes, doubts.
Doubts.
I have no doubt about the goal, that Krishna is the goal, and I have no doubt that Krishna consciousness is the way. The
Yes,
path.
yes.
But hearing about these great personalities in our Parampara and present saints, I have a doubt that I have qualification to achieve this goal.
That's
What to do with this
good.
doubt?
That's good. The doubt is there. For if you don't have any doubt, then you will not make any progress. We should not have any doubt though. But it is good to have doubt. As long as we try to follow the instructions of the spiritual master, then why did you choose a spiritual master if you have a doubt? It's like the time of initiation means I don't have any more doubt that he will lead me to go back home, back to Godhead. There's like a crossroads or crossroad, whether I should turn right or turn left, go forward or come back. You have to make a decision. And you already made a decision to go back home, back to Godhead. So you just have to follow the instructions of the spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. And again, hope against hope. Just by following the sincerity that we have to put into this. Obviously, one day you will not have any doubt. It's good to have doubt. It's good to have doubt. That is healthy. But ultimately, you will not have any doubt. Okay? Yes. Anything from the ladies' side? So, yes.
How can I make my mind to get the blessings of Lord Krishna?
How can you get?
How can I make my mind to get the blessings of Supreme Lord Head Krishna?
You have to be convinced into this process. Without becoming convinced, Krishna will also not bestow His mercy upon you. How do you become convinced? Again, the same answer, follow the process sincerely and associate with the devotees. You should be greedy. Like the materialists are greedy for money. Some devotees, they have a lot of money, but they're convinced that, what shall I do with this money? I have to give this to Krishna. If I don't give to Krishna, I will not be happy. I may have so much, but this doesn't make me happy. So you have to convince that only to give Krishna pleasure. then you will get Krishna's mercy, Krishna Kripa. Okay? No reservation. Wholeheartedly. 100%. If possible. It is possible. Like Prabhupada, the best example. So you'll get Krishna's mercy, no doubt. Again, no doubt. If you are convinced that everything that I do is only for the Lord's pleasure and His devotees' pleasure. That should be our focus. In Vrindavan, we don't have any service. What is our service in Vrindavan? Our service in Vrindavan is to serve the devotees. That we don't have anything else to do here. To serve the Vaishnavas. So if you serve the Vaishnavas, like we mentioned this earlier, one who says he's my devotee, he's not my devotee. But one who says he's a devotee of my devotee, he is my devotee. Okay? Anything else from the Mataji's side? Any questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thanks for the wonderful lecture. Who are Brajavasis?
Who are the Brajavasis?
You will get birth here, or you will come and stay permanently, or you can be permanently.
There are different kinds of Brajavasis. Real Brajavasis means those who think of Krishna 24 hours and serving Krishna 24 hours. They are the genuine Brajavasis. If you take birth in Vrindavan, you're also Brajavasi. Now, you may not think of Krishna, or you may be thinking of how to make money, you're still a Brajavasi. If you come here for some time and you live here for a long time, you're also Brajavasi. Now, you may be thinking of Krishna, you're not thinking of Krishna, you're still a Brajavasi. Now, if you come here, you live for some time, and you think of Krishna at the time of death, you're also Brajavasi. So who are you? Who am I? That's a good question, eh? Who am I? If you live here for some time, you're also Brajavasi. But am I thinking of Krishna, or am I thinking of something else? Am I thinking to fulfill my material desires? But the genuine is that one who is thinking of Krishna favorably. Others are thinking of Krishna. They're using Krishna to make money. But favorably, thinking of Krishna only to serve Him or His devotees. Okay? I'm going to read you something. Is there anything else? I'm going to read you something. Is the material world full of miseries? This is from Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. The Lord says, I have arranged all these miseries and dangers not to give you trouble, but to teach you that such miseries are unnecessary and that you should search after eternally desirable eternal happiness. So this is not for our miseries, but to teach us lesson.
Thank you, Maharaj. Very good, nice, very clear answer. I am little bit proud about your important devotees devotee.
What's that again?
One question creeping in my mind seems so wrong, that we should not do the worship for demigods. But we should do the worship for the Lord. Why? Because we are devotees, we have to serve the Lord. But we should not do the worship for demigods. Why? Because we are devotees, we have to serve the Lord.
We should not give worship to the demigods.
Yes, we should avoid. We should avoid.
Okay.
And as you understood, that these demigods are also the devotees of Lord Krishna.
Yes.
And to serve them as they are the devotee, and we are supposed to serve devotees. We
Yeah.
can't approach the Krishna directly.
Yeah, but there are 33 million demigods,
Yeah.
and you only have 24 hours.
Yes.
So to worship all of them is not possible. So you just worship Krishna, automatically all of them are being also given respect. We give respect, we don't worship. Bhajan is only for Krishna. There is no such thing as Ganesh Bhajan. Huh? Or Shiva Bhajan. No, Bhajan worship is only for Krishna. So we give respect to them. We don't disrespect them. Knowingly, they're also devatas. That means they are godly. But there's no need to worship them. They know. Actually, those worshippers of the demigods, and they think that the demigods are the Lord Himself, they don't like. They don't like it. Huh? They think you're a fool. But I have to reciprocate because they're easily pleased, like Ashutosh, Lord Shiva. If you want to have a good wife or a good husband, you worship different, treasure, knowledge, but just worship Lord Krishna. They can understand it. Okay? Is that okay? Oh, Haribol. Okay, let me hear him. Let me hear him.
One is not that we are supposed to serve devotees. So if
I know, but Prabhupada says there is a statement in the Nectar of Devotion, one can worship Ganesh to get rid of the obstacles in devotional service. So devotees in Chicago, they proposed to Prabhupada if they can worship Ganesh. Prabhupada says, yes, but you must give me $100,000 every month worth of gold. They can understand if you don't worship them, that if you only worship Krishna, they are more happy than you worship them. Because if you worship one, you better worship the whole 33 million. And it's not possible.
Okay, so again asking, Ram did go to Sri Lanka.
It's a devotee. He worship. He asked some blessings from a devotee to beat Ravana.
We can serve to the Shiva, Lord Shiva, in that sense.
Well, there is Gopishwar here in Vrindavan.
We can go there.
You can go there, but the prayer is so that you can attain bhakti, Krishna bhakti.
And
One last question.
Hare Krishna. My question is, anybody who chants Hare Krishna,
Anybody?
anybody chants Manas Hare Krishna and all his sinful activities,
Manasa?
all his sinful activities destroyed by chanting Manas Hare Krishna.
But it has to be pure.
But so in India there are so many people who chant Ram, Madhav, Keshav, Govinda Krishna,
Yeah.
and also are doing most ferocious sinful activities.
Most?
Most ferocious sinful activities. Knowing and unknowing they are chanting Hare Krishna mantra. What will be the question of there?
They get benefit. They get benefit.
My question, what will be the question? They will be punished after death, or they will go to...
No, if they keep chanting, they'll become pure one day. Okay? But if they chant offensively and they still keep on chanting, again,
But they are
one thing that you should not do, that you cannot afford to do, offend a Vaishnava. you will stop chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra for sure. Because there is no remedy for that except you ask forgiveness from a Vaishnava whom you offended. But if you offend anything, any offenses, Dham aparad, Seva aparad, Nama aparad, you just keep chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you'll get purified someday. Okay? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ke! Jai Gaur Shitanath Premanande Hari Hari Bol.